Howdy y'all, Kelly from Broken Carnivore. Glad y'all stopped by today. Before I get started, I want to share a word from God. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is God's power for salvation to everyone who believes first to the Jew and also to the Gentile. A few weeks ago, I did a video and I shared with you all a dry brine method that I always like to do to my steaks. And what I did with it was I set the steaks in the refrigerator for about 3 to 4 days to really get to a dry brine. And I showed you all how I prepared the steaks on the grill. And I come up with this idea that why don't I do a chuck roast? So I come up with the idea I wanted to do a dry brine chuck roast. I wanted dry brine. So right here I have 2 chuck roasts that I actually got on sale today at the grocery store. One I got for $11.26, which is 1.88 pounds. And the other one I got for $13.99, which is 2.335 pounds, which they were on sale for $5.99 a pound, which that's a pretty good deal, especially with the rising cost of beef. That's pretty cheap. And when I picked out the fattiest cut of chuck roast. So what I want to do is I'm going to take these 2 chuck roasts. We're going to put them on this cooling rack. I'm going to take them out of the deal. And then what we need to do is I want to pat all the moisture off of it as much as I can on both sides. And what I'm going to use is Redmond's real salt. You can use any kind of salt. You can use a good quality Celtic salt, a good quality sea salt. You can use mountain sea salt. But what we're going to do is we want to salt every side of these chuck roasts so that salt can penetrate in there. And what it's going to do is it's going to draw all the moisture out. And it's going to be kind of a dry aging method, but not dry aging, because dry aging is a little bit different. This is more of a dry brine. And what it does, it gives a pretty good flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put a generous amount of salt on each side all the way around. You want to make sure you get all the sides, including the edges. This method, I really like it on the steaks because it gives it it really makes it more tender. I don't know what the science behind it, why it makes it so tender, but I really like it. And usually when I do the dry brine on the steaks, I usually do it, set it in the fridge for 2 hours, maybe a day. But this last time, I set it in for about 3 to 4 days, and I really liked it better. It really came out flavorful. So that's why I wanted to do these chuck roasts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put these in the refrigerator, and I'm going to leave them in there for about 3, 4, I might even go 5 days with it. It is Wednesday, August 20th. So we're going to get back into 3 to 5 days from now, and we're going to fire the grill. I'm going to use my Weber kettle grill, and we're going to do the indirect. I'm going to do indirect grilling, and I'm going to do a reverse sear after I get that desired internal temp, so I can kind of get a rare to medium rare on the inside. And then I will get back with you in about 3 to 5 days. It has been 4 days since I did the dry brine on these chuck roasts. If you can tell, you can see that it has dried. It has got that deep red color. The fat is dry. That's what you would like on a dry brine steak or chuck roast. And the purpose of dry brining is to enhance the flavor. Sometimes you get the juiciness of the steak, but a lot of times it's very tender. And when I did this the last time with the ribeye and the Casey strip that I did for 3 days, it had so much flavor. It was so much tender. It was very good. So that's why I wanted to do this chuck roast. And so I have got the grill fired up outside, and I am going to do the indirect grilling method, where you take the coals and you put the coals to one side, where you have a hot side and you have a cool side of the grill. I am going to use a Weber kettle grill. I'm going to do the indirect grilling. I'm going to put these on the slow side, where I do a slow cook on it, where I'm going to cut the internal temperature maybe to a 90 to 100 degrees, and then I am going to do a reverse sear to get a good crust on each side of this chuck roast. And then when I do, I pull them off the grill, let them set, and then I'm going to give them a try. So I'm going to be using this Govee temperature probe. It is Bluetooth. I will link this in the description box down below where I got it from. And I'm going to go ahead and put the probes in, and we'll go ahead and get these out to the grill. chuck roasts are now off the grill. They look very delicious. I did that slow and cooked to get it to about an internal temperature. Shows on my thermometer about 120 that rear, and then I got it that sear on the outside to get that crisp. And boy, I can't wait to dig in. It's just good with steaks. I wonder if it does the same for chuck roast. So I'm gonna give it a taste test here. Mmm.
Lynn, whose own kids never do team activities, must now support the boys' busy schedules.
Boys are all over the place. They've got their practices and their games.
Very tasty, very flavorful.
And she's the primary.
That salt and that dry brine let it soak into the meat at least for 3 to 4 days. Enhanced the flavor. And it did tenderize it just a little bit. If you want to try this, try it. All I did was I did a dry brine where I salted all sides of the chuck roast. I put it on a cooling rack, put it in the fridge for 4 days. And then what I did is, you can do whatever you want, but I did the grill, indirect drilling, where the coals are hot on one side, cool on the other side. Whatever your desired temperature of your internal you want, give it that good crust. You can't go wrong. Like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage, support one another. You all have a great day. God bless.